I'm Dia Pavel, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Society of Amherst, and I use she, her pronouns. Welcome to you, old friends and new, young and old, in the Zoom and in the sanctuary. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, and all loved. Just as you are welcome here. As part of our effort to seek feedback on the governance of our congregation, you are invited to join us during the first 15 minutes of any regular board meeting. You can talk to us in the social hour, and you can get in touch with us using the email address board@uusocietyamherst.org. And we are grateful to be in community with you.
Good morning. I am Robin Livingston, a member of the Unitarian Universalist Society of Amherst and today's worship associate. I use they, them pronouns. Today, we're welcoming new members, making space for loneliness, and hearing from our February dedicated offering organization, Healing Across the Divides. While local COVID numbers are low, masks are optional in the sanctuary, with the exception of the balcony, which we reserve for those wearing masks. I call us to worship with these words from the Reverend Elizabeth Mount. They are the minister of the UU Church of Cheyenne. From our very first breath, we reach out. Co-regulation, not self-regulation, is in our nature. We find our cues from the sun and the moon, from each parent and caregiver. We find our place in this great turning planet. By turning to one another, generation to generation, we awaken to the dawn and fall asleep at the evening's end. Our life's journey is part of something greater, something simple, something divine. A flame cannot be lit without a spark. A life cannot begin without the air. And we cannot begin to find ourselves without love. May we reach out to one another. May we offer love and nurturing care. May we join together in celebration of the interdependence of our lives. In this spirit, let us worship together.
I'm the Reverend Rachael Hayes, minister of the Unitarian Universalist Society of Amherst. I use she, her pronouns. I invite you to join me in the unison words for lighting our chalice. We light this flame to invite a world of peace, where we heal the wounds, where we share what we have with one another, where justice is another word for relationship, and we listen for what love has to say. I'm going to do something a little bit unusual for our first hymn. I want to invite the kids who might be coming up for the Time for All Ages to come on up as we sing our hymn. And we'll sing the words once through, and then we'll have some more instructions after that. So if you might want to come up for the Time for All Ages, you are invited to come up now. It's number 16, 'tis a gift to be simple. That's important information.
Tis a gift to be simple.
find this very fun. I hope some of you find it fun. For this next part, you're all welcome to rise in body, in spirit, in any way that makes you excited, because you're invited to act out the words in the song. So if you want to turn, if that will be your delight, if you want to bow, if you want to bend, this is the time to do that. Because this song was originally a song for dancing in the Shaker communities it came from. And I invite you to sing this song with your whole body in whatever way feels good to you. Yeah? All right. Okay. So any of our kids who want to hang out for the Time for All Ages, or any who want to come forward and join us, this would be a great time for that. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Who knows what law was passed in English Parliament in 1677? Really, Ember? I will be flabbergasted. Stuff. In 1677, in the English Parliament, they passed the Statute of Frauds Act. The Statute of Frauds Act established something very important. Fraud. It established that signatures are legally binding. I know all of the adults just understood where I was going with this. There is a long history to signatures, well before 1677. The first time someone used markings to mark their name that we have record of was in 3000 BC with the Sumerians. And they used pictograms, which are sort of like hieroglyphics, but not, because they weren't from Egypt. But they used pictograms to identify a person as the one who made a certain clay tablet. And from then on, we have different examples going through the ages of people using their signatures to say, I made this, or I agree to this, or this is important to me. And so today, some people in the congregation are going to add their signatures, their mark, to a very important document from our congregation. And so I'm going to invite the kids. You can have a seat where you are. Make sure you make a little bit of space, and I'm going to pass it off to Janice.
Okay, I'm Janice Gray. I use she, her pronouns. Nearly 130 years ago, about 40 families living in Amherst and nearby towns decided to form a special community. Calling themselves Universalists, they met in rented spaces to find ways to enrich their world and those of their children, and encourage the love of life and their own search for truth and meaning. In 1892, they started to build a meeting house for Sunday services, religious education, board games, music, potluck suppers, and other fun events on the corner of North Pleasant Street and Kellogg Avenue, right here. Its doors opened in 1893. Then another group of families in town, the Unitarians, began sending their children to the Universalist Sunday School. They didn't have their own building or minister, but they knew they shared many values with their Universalist neighbors. A few years later, the two groups of families made it official. They chose to share this building together as Unity Church. In 1919, someone bought a plain blank book and put our name on it, and wrote the names of all the adults, all the adult members of Unity Church inside. As new people joined Unity Church, they added their names or signatures, what Andrew was talking about, their names themselves. This membership book is now 105 years old. If you look through its pages, and I'm going to give Libby time to do this, you'll see some changes that our early members could not have imagined. After a while, someone must have suggested adding your home address to your signature so we'd know where to find each other in a growing town. As more homes got this newfangled thing called a telephone, phone numbers began to appear. Then, maybe 30 years ago, email addresses, and now cell phone numbers. There are so many signatures in here. But every name in this old, battered book belonged to someone who said, "For this time in my life, I choose to belong to this community. I want to be part of its energy and its vision." Today, as our newest members add their names, I hope you will imagine the generations who signed this book before them filling this room, smiling, clapping, and calling out, "Welcome home."
Today is an opportunity for anyone who has been thinking about joining the membership of our society to sign the membership book and become an official member. And I am so excited that we're doing this in the service because the kids have an important role. If you choose to undertake it, I would like you to give our new members a high five after they sign the book. Okay. So with that being said, I'd like to invite anyone up who is excited to sign our book today. Come on forward. Yeah. Awesome.
Welcome, Matt. Thank you. No, I think, yes. Welcome, Emily. Here are our high fivers. So exciting.
so many exciting people in the line to sign the book. If we ran out of folders on you, Ministry of Welcome and Membership will get you one. And the most important part, I think, is that we have a round of applause for all of this excitement about our congregation. Two weeks ago, I reflected on how our congregation transforms as we welcome newcomers. Today, we watched part of that process happen in real time as our newest members signed the book, put their names after the names going back to the founding of our congregation. We watched as our congregation's official membership grew, but I hope that this moment is part of our spiritual and relational growth, not simply our numerical growth. 20th century Unitarian A. Powell Davies wrote some 80 years ago, "We grow by fellowship. The life of our minds and the joy of our hearts is very largely the gift of others. We long to share our lives with other people, to understand other minds, to be ourselves understood. Such fellowship, such communion is life itself. If we are denied it, we become shrunken and distorted, spiritual starvelings. So closely are we intertwined with other lives, indeed with all the life of all the world, that all gain and all loss anywhere, all advance or all disaster everywhere, intimately affect us. As John Donne told us, no man is an island entire of itself. No, we are what we are because of the human world in which we live, a world of manifold relationships, and because of our intimates, our close companions, our friends. It is therefore obvious that we grow by fellowship, by relationship to other people, by not, okay, that, I think it pasted weird. Let's just end there. By relationship to other people. It is too tempting in our hyper-individualistic culture for us to try to make it on our own, to try to make it through life alone, to not owe anyone anything, to have paid one's own way, and be completely square in one's accounts. We valorize the person who didn't take charity or built a self-contained homestead or never asked for any favors. Is it any wonder that last year the U.S. Surgeon General declared that we are in a loneliness epidemic? Our culture had already begun to trend more toward loneliness and isolation, even before the COVID-19 pandemic began. As more people have to work more hours to make ends meet, we have less time for those voluntary connections. In the last 60 years, the percentage of single-person households has doubled. Statistically, loneliness has a similar effect on individual life expectancy to smoking 15 cigarettes per day. If you are or have been lonely, you are welcome here. If you find yourself surrounded by people without getting the connection you need, you are welcome here. If you come here as part of a family, or to get peace from your family, or to find chosen family, or to be better family to yourself, you are welcome here. This is advice for new members, but I think it helps for everyone to hear it. You are welcome here. I'd like to invite you to think of who you are in our congregation. If you are here for the first time or just settling in, you might want to translate to another place where you belong, or you might want to think about how you want to belong in the future. Who are you? in our congregation? What are the circles where you are known? It might be Wednesday community breakfast, or the men's breakfast group, or the women's circle. It might be your small group ministry. It might be the circle of religious education families. It might be in committee work, or choir, or the people you made origami with at Second Friday Fun, or the people you talked to at a social supper. Probably there is some overlap between those circles, and that's okay. That is good. How do you feel like you are as well known as you would like to be in these circles? How many circles did you count? It seems to me that people really begin to feel like they belong in the congregation when they are well known in 3 or more circles. If you can't name 3, I wonder how you might like to be connected. Maybe it's joining a group. Maybe it's as simple as asking the person sitting next to you right now whether they're going to come to one of the concerts happening in March, and if you can sit together. If you can name at least 3 circles of belonging, when was the last time you invited someone to join you? It's one thing to tell someone that we're doing Second Friday Fun again in March, and another thing altogether to invite someone to come with you. You are all welcome to come with me, but I know that doesn't have the same impact as when you invite one another. Sometimes I hear, I want someone to reach out to me. Most of us want to know that we're wanted. A lot of us can feel a little bit of anxiety showing up, even in a place where we know that we are loved. Let me tell you a secret. I hear this just as much from people I think of as firmly planted in countless circles as those finding their way in 1 or 2. We all want to be invited. So the next time you wish you were invited, invite someone to join you. Of course, there is a difference between loneliness and solitude. I live alone, one of those single-person households from the statistic I referenced before, and I'm frequently grateful for it. There are times when solitude can be a balm to my introvert spirit, and there have been times where I was lonely in a crowded room because, for whatever reason, the connection just didn't click. I come into community to make connections that matter, that give me hope for our shared future and connection to the past, that teach me how to be present to the world around me. Long before I came to our congregation, this is probably 10 years ago, I found this kind of community in a group of women roughly 25 to 80 years of age. This group was, unsurprisingly, from the congregation I attended. Religious community is one of the few multi-generational spaces in our culture. In school, most of us are only with others our own age. Depending what kind of work you do in adulthood, it's possible that most of your coworkers are roughly of the same generation. Here, children play charades with adults, and we pick up trash together at the river cleanup. Here, adults form cross-generational friendships. Here, we teach each other how to grow up and how to grow older. Here, we teach each other what matters to us and how we understand the world, even if it's different from when I was your age. Joining our congregation will not guarantee that you're never lonely again. We are not a magical anti-loneliness factory. But participating in the congregation will bring you back to people who care how your spirit is, We'll make space for you in loneliness, in exhaustion, in sorrow, and in joy, and welcome you as you are. This is the promise of our religious community. May we do our best to live into it, to turn toward one another with hearts that are curious, generous, and open. May we do our best to live in it, to trust that we're all welcome in all of our humanity. May it be so. Amen. Our meditation this morning is Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. One of the beautiful things about a sacred text is that we continue to find new meaning as we come back to the same words. In that spirit, whether you heard these words from Robin just last week, or it's been a while, or you are hearing them for the first time, open yourself to whatever message they have for you today. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Please remain seated as we sing our meditation hymn, number 123, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the land, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
I invite you to join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice in your order of service or on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Whatever life holds for you next, know this: wherever you go, you need not go alone. May you find the companionship that sustains your spirit, and may you open your heart to connection. Go in peace.